Hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. I'm really excited to introduce everybody to our newest online course of 20 TOEFL MasterClass. The course is taught by me and it was created by West Education LLC as well as the Up 20 or the Up Test Preparation Network and myself. So the TOEFL exam is for people who need to prove or show their level of English language proficiency to universities abroad. Maybe if you've applied for a university in America or even in Canada, and they've asked you to give your TOEFL scores. So you need to take this exam in order to show them that your English level is of a high standard. Today, I'm just going to give you an outline of what the course will entail, what it would look like, and what you're expected to learn throughout the course. So, as I mentioned, I'm the teacher of this course, so I would be responsible for teaching you all of the parts of the exam and all of the tips and tricks and skills you need in order to pass this exam. So let's get into the outline of the course. First, we have the first lesson, which is just an introduction to the Up Test Preparation Network and the Up 20 TOEFL. Kind of what it is, what we do, what it entails, and how you would best learn through us. A lot of people, I'm sure, are concerned, what is this Up 20? What is this Up Test Preparation? So lesson 1 just gets into that and gets it out the way. Yeah. Lesson 2 is the introduction to the TOEFL exam. So it talks about the sections of the exam, how many minutes are given for each section of the exam, and what each section of the exam entails. The length of the exam, how to register for the exam, and everything you would need to know, especially if this is your first time taking the TOEFL exam. So you would definitely need this information. Lesson 3 gets into the bulk, or as we say, the meat and potatoes of the course. So the writing section of the TOEFL exam is lesson 3. And so we teach you all the skills that you would need in order to pass the writing section, in addition to some tips and tricks that would help you or help to guarantee a high score for the writing section. Lesson 4 is about spelling tactics. With this part of the exam, the writing section, it's very important to spell your words correctly. So spelling tactics is a really important lesson as well. As much as lesson 5, which is about homophones, and lesson 6, which is about sentence structure. Lesson 7 is about connecting words and transitions, the best ways to do that within your writing. A lot of students have some issues with that, so this is an important part as it relates to the writing section of the exam. So next we have lesson 8, which is the speaking section of the TOEFL exam. And the speaking section is a bit integrated. So is the writing section of the exam. This means that you have to do some reading and then you would speak, or you'd have to do some listening and then you would speak in order to complete this section of the exam. So in addition to teaching you and giving you real life examples of the speaking section, we'd also give you some tips and tricks in order to pass this part of the exam. Lesson 9 covers pronunciation, because pronunciation is really important for the speaking section, as well as intonation in lesson 10. Lesson 11 covers the reading section of the exam. And I'm not sure if you joined us for our webinar, which was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, which showed the average scores for students who take the TOEFL exam in the MENA region, in the Middle East, North Africa region. And within this region, most students don't do very well in the reading section of the exam. So the reading section is really tailored to those students who have in reading. And so we cover all the skills and everything you would need in order to successfully pass the reading part of the exam, as well as some tips and tricks that would help you along the way. Lesson 12, we cover skimming and scanning. Because the TOEFL exam is timed, you don't have a lot of time to read all the details. So we teach you how to skim through and scan through the reading section of the exam. Lesson 13 covers synonyms and antonyms, and lesson 14 covers prefix and suffix. Sometimes students, by the prefix and suffix, don't really understand the meaning of the word, so we added this in lesson 14 so that things are very, very clear and that you can understand the vocabulary used in the reading section of the exam. Let's move on, and we're going to talk about lesson 15, which is now the listening section of the exam. And the listening section of the exam is really interesting because it has so many parts. So we cover all those parts, all the skills you would need in order to pass it. And then lesson 16, we cover note-taking. So if you think about it, in a university setting, you're listening to your teacher speak and then you're taking notes. This is normal in the university, on the university level, and it is integrated where it's a part of this TOEFL exam. During the listening section of your exam, you're going to listen and then you're going to take notes. Those notes are going to help you answer the questions. Just as a tip, as we're talking about the listening section, I like to suggest to everyone who is thinking about taking the TOEFL exam to listen to some American series, some American shows like Friends, because it's a popular one. Listen to it without the subtitles, so no Arabic subtitles, no French subtitles, no subtitles, and just listening and practicing your listening skills. Lesson 17 covers grammar to remember. So the grammar points you definitely need to remember in order to pass the TOEFL exam. A lot of TOEFL preparation courses cover a lot of grammar points. And so because this course is so targeted and so specific, we decided that we weren't going to make the entire course about grammar. Instead, we're going to make the entire course about the exam. And we're going to help along the way, little by little, with grammar points to remember. Lesson 18 kind of wraps the course up. You have a course review, so we'll cover everything you learned thus far, everything that was covered thus far. Lesson 19 helps you on test day. So how to stay stress-free on test day. Many students feel so much stress when they're preparing to take this exam. And then can you imagine the exam day? Very stressful. So we help you with some breathing techniques, some relaxation techniques, maybe even having some cold water, drinking some cold water so that you can relax and that you're not tense. Because if you're tense or you're anxious, it's possible you won't do well. So we need you to do the absolute best, do your absolute best, so we help you stay stress-free. Lesson 20 helps you to give scores to the universities who've requested them. So like I mentioned at the beginning, some of the universities that you would have applied to would request that you send the TOEFL exam scores once you've completed the exam. So we just show you, or we teach you how you would go about doing such a thing. There are also some bonus lessons. Don't tell anybody. There are also some bonus lessons that we add at the end just to make sure you have all the information that you need for this particular course. Again, like I mentioned, the course is very targeted to the exam. There's no extra flowers, no extra fluff, nothing that you would not need. Everything is very targeted, and you would need all of it for this exam. I want to remind everyone that before you start the course, you would take a pre-course exam, and after you finish the course, you would take a post-course exam. We would compare the scores for the pre-course and the post-course exam, and we will show you kind of where you started and where you ended up. And with that, you'd be able to keep track, or you'd be able to see your improvements. And so with that, you'd know that you met your goals and you met the objectives of the course. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing and meeting everyone. The course starts August 10th. August 10th. And I want everyone to go to our website to register for the course. The website is also going to be below, but it is www.westeducationma.com. Thank you, everybody. And I really, 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 really look forward to seeing everyone during this course to help them pass this exam. It's going to be great. Don't worry. Thank you, everybody, and I appreciate everything.